everybody. How we doing today? It is Wednesday, the 18th of September. Golly. Halfway through September, a little bit more than halfway through September. Jeez Louise. So, I am on my way home from job number one, heading to job number two. If you've been watching my videos at any length, you'll know that that's what I do at this time of day. Just trying to find time to do stuff with the fam. I'm going to go home, and I actually found some prime rib hamburger meat, or slider patties, whatever you want to call it, at Sam's Club, made from prime ribs. So I can't wait to have those. I'm going to have those for dinner before I go to work. Got some onions, got some slider buns, got some meats, and when I get home, I'm going to fire up the griddle, because you've never had a good hamburger till it's properly seasoned and cooked on a griddle. I'll tell you what, that's good stuff. But that's not what you came here to listen to. That's just me flapping my gums to allow time for people to get in here. This environment right now in our country, guys, is nuts. So, a couple things we're going to go over. Number one, we're going to go over, I don't know if you guys watched any Fox News at all, but 2 days after the second attempted assassination of Donald Trump, I can't remember, I think it's Steve. I think Steve is the father, and I can't remember the name of the son, but Young Ducey, the reporter for Fox News, hey, what's up, Denver Busted? How we doing? He was at in the White House briefing room when I can't remember her name. I'm just having a brain fart from hell right now. But when the press secretary made the claim that Trump was still a threat to democracy, made the claim that Biden still says Trump's a threat to democracy. Pete Ducey, that's right, Pete Ducey. And then Pete Ducey confronts her on it, and he's like, lady, we just had a second attempt on Donald Trump 2 days ago, and here you are at the White House podium claiming that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. When are you going to change your rhetoric? And she's just like, I don't like your question. You're talking in a very dangerous manner, and the American public is watching. And it's like, yeah, they watch. And you're the moron still claiming that Trump is a threat to democracy. It boggles my mind that it's okay for thee, but not for us. You know, it's okay for them to talk all this massive shit about their political opponents and use rhetoric that's considered dangerous because it's telling people that, you know, they're a threat, they're a danger. And yet, if we say anything anywhere near that, we're vilified and told that we're evil and we're just a bunch of white privileged Nazis or neo-Nazis or whatever the hell you want to call it. And it's so garbage. And I really feel that if the left doesn't stop, it's going to get worse. And it's not going to get worse because the people on the right are nut jobs, and they're right-wing nut jobs that are willing to kill anybody to make their point. No, that's not it. The point is, hey, Jesse Luster, I haven't lost control of my vehicle. I'm within my lane, and I'm paying attention to my car. I look at the phone just as much as I look at my mirrors, which is just right there, just to the side of my phone. So you can think what you want. You're more than welcome to be entitled to your opinion, and I have no problem with you using your First Amendment right to voice your opinion. But you have no proof of that. That being said, I'm going to continue on with my point. So now the left wants to sit there and say that, you know, Kamala needs to debate Trump again, and Kamala needs to be the one to win this time, because you know how it is. Anytime you're in a realm or an arena of some sort, the loser is the first one to say they want a rematch. Now, that right there shows that Kamala knows she lost, and she knows that her numbers are falling in the polls, and if she doesn't do something to correct that fall, within a couple weeks it's going to be a free fall, especially if there's another attempt on Trump's life that gets closer than the second attempt, and the Secret Service doesn't do it. But considering they beefed up Trump's security and equally, and I'm going to say this is the right move, and equally beefed up Kamala Harris's security, I don't think they're going to try that stuff again. Thank you, Chris Lee. I know Jesus loves me. He is my Lord and Savior, and that's where I'm going to stop on that point, because I'm trying to stay focused here on my point. So now, earlier this morning, I think it was 8:30 Mountain Standard Time, so that would have been 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. The people that were policing and screening the area where Trump's having his rally tonight thought they had found a bomb. And come to find out, there's been a lot of conjecture and misanthropes as to what actually happened. So far, the story is somebody had a car that went within the secured area, and when the driver was approached by security, he ran like a bullet out of there, kind of like a hot point over a Democrat's head. And come to find out, the bomb dog, falsely centered on the car. So they brought in a bomb squad, checked it out. There was no bomb. It was a false report. And it's just where they're at now. They've re-secured everything. That's a good one, New Era. I like that. I didn't know where you were going with that until I read it all the way through. That was funny. That's funny. That was a good one. Oh, wow. That was a good one. And I also know from on good authority from people I've talked to, the Billie Eilish endorsement for her and her brother, not only was it scripted, it was paid for. So when they endorsed Kamala, it was paid for, and it was scripted completely. And Kamala is hated unilaterally across the board. And just so you know, yes, I'm stopped. If you can tell behind me, I'm not moving. Kamala Harris is not hated, disliked across the board. Nobody likes her. She has a weird laugh that she claims is just her being happy. And she has this undeniable inability to answer any questions. I'm sorry, Juna, you're going to have to add a little explanation to that one. I'm not sure what you mean by that. And I really feel that if anybody is not the best candidate for this country, it's guaranteed to be Kamala. Now, I will tell you right now, the reason why it took me so long to respond to that and answer that was because I'm going to check myself when it comes to my language. I didn't call her a threat. I didn't call her a danger to our democracy. I wanted to, but I'm just going to say she's not the best candidate because she does not wholeheartedly believe in the foundation of America. Instead, she believes in what her father used to teach, and that's Marxism. Her father was a Marxist professor. And because of that, she was taught really well how to be a Marxist. And stuff like price fixing, giving people money for a house down payment. Do you realize how bad that is going to screw up our economy? You realize how bad that is going to screw our economy up 10 ways from Sunday? When you start price fixing, you kill production. Or you kill whoever's creating the items that are being sold. That's number one. When you start subsidizing housing, it becomes more expensive. And then when you start telling people they can and can't do stuff, you start locking away those that feel they have a right to free speech. Now you've just entered communism. Yeah, price controls, anything that is related to Marxism and communism has always destroyed the country it's been in, no matter what. No ifs, ands, or buts, no question. It has always screwed it up. And the reason it's always screwed it up is because when you only have one person in play as the total power of the country, you are either in total control or you have no control. And the reason why I say it like that, every time there's been a dictator that nobody liked and somebody made friends with their head of the military, the head of the military would turn on them and become president themselves. And then the other guy would have them assassinated, or that guy would kill the other guy so he couldn't have him assassinated, and then he'd go on to run the country until his head of the military or some abolitionist group would come through with power and try and kill them off. That's why our system is so awesome. The separate powers that control our country. It gives us, the voters, the ultimate ability to run our country, but we have to do one thing, and that's vote. In a lot of states, they've already started early voting, and I really feel that everybody that's out there, whether you believe me or not, whether you understand what I'm saying or not, or you think I'm telling the truth or blowing smoke up your ass, I'll put it to you like this. Imagine 8 years ago, Obama had finished his term, Hillary was running, Trump was running. They didn't think Trump could win. Trump won. And then the next 4 years after that, despite what the news agencies said, despite what all the Democrats said, despite all the fear-mongering, our country soared. We became energy independent. Our economy was the bee's knees of the frickin' world. We had very, very, very low inflation. The job market was amazing. Hello again, Scarlett. And on top of all that, you got to enjoy your free voice. You got to enjoy your freedoms. 8 years ago today, I was working at a job I didn't like. I couldn't stand the people that worked there, except for like 4 or 5 people who I thought were pretty cool. And I've been there almost a year, and after being there a year, I left because the management wouldn't offer me a pay wage, and I went to the company I'm with now, and I've been with this company for 7 years. This company has given me the opportunity to make a decent wage, and before Kamala and Biden got in the White House, this was my only job. And I wasn't making as much then as I am now. And guess what I'm getting ready to go do? I'm getting ready to go to a second job. People, I understand. Sometimes fear is bad. And I understand that sometimes when people talk, they scare the snowflakes, and the snowflakes get in an uproar, and they get all mad, and, oh my God, he said he's going to be a dictator on day one. Well, yeah. And guess what? I agree with it. He's going to have the biggest mass deportation this country has ever seen on day one. And you know what? I'm okay with it. Because if we do not get rid of the illegal citizens that are in our, the illegal migrants that are in our country, before the Democrats try and make them citizens, we are screwed as a country. Do you realize in Chicago they're shutting down schools to turn them into migrant shelters? Do you realize that in Denver they're taking over hotels and apartment buildings and turning those into migrant shelters? Do you realize we now have a Venezuelan gang problem? And you know what? The governor and all of them, they can deny it all they want, but I'm going to tell you this right now. I live in Colorado. I know Aurora. I grew up in Aurora. Aurora was never this bad. You go down in Aurora and you can see exactly where the drugs, the homeless, and the gangs are, because they are on full display. They aren't even hiding in the cracks. They're not hiding in the alleys. They're not hiding in the shadows anymore. They're on full display. Aurora is no longer a safe community unless you live in the far southeast corner down by E470 east of Littleton. That's the only part of Aurora that's safe, because that has all the new housing developments and all the yuppie fucks down there with their money and their yuppie schools and their kids that get fucking 5-figure cars for birthday presents. Yeah, that's where they've got the cops going. Why? Because nowadays, if you try and arrest illegal citizens, well, guess what? Sanctuary city. I'm surprised we're not a sanctuary state, because our governor's a moron. And on top of that, they won't hold them long enough for ICE to get them. There are stores moving out of Chicago because it's too dangerous. There are stores moving out of New York because it's too dangerous, and because they don't want to be prosecuted in case they do something against business law that they would get, that they decide to prosecute them for, just like they did Trump. Our cities are going to shit in a handbasket straight to hell, and it's full of hay and gasoline, people. And you really need to understand that if you do not vote Donald Trump this time, we won't be the next China. We will be under China's boot. And if we're not under China's boot, we'll be under Russia's. Socialism does not work. Marxism does not work. Communism does not work. The upper echelon in all three of those governments are successful because everybody underneath them suffers. We don't need it, and we don't want it in America. What we need is a president that cares about America first. And when you're an American first president, you care about the border, like he did. He built a wall. And he damn sure made fucking Mexico pay for it. He made us energy independent So Russia couldn't control the price of gas. So Saudi Arabia couldn't control the price of gas. So no other country could control the price of gas. Why? Because when you own the gas, you own the world. That's why America's so big on going after countries with oil. Sorry, guys. It's so frustrating that all the people in this country that want to vote for Kamala have on fucking blinders. You ever see a horse with blinders? They're facing straight ahead so they can see what's in front of them. Not Democrats. They got blinders covering the front so they can look sideways at Trump and see how much of a bad guy he is. We need Trump back in office, and we need him quick. Because I truly feel that this is going to be our last chance to fix this country. The Supreme Court, thank God for the Supreme Court. Thank God for Trump putting in enough conservatives that believe in our Constitution to keep our country safe. Because if they hadn't, we'd be in so much worse of a position. I want to see Trump do 4 things in the next presidency. Number 1, completely finish securing our border, both northern and southern. I want to see a border wall in the north as much as I want to see the one on the south finished. Number 1. Number 2, I want to see Trump have a national voting system. And yes, I know this is going to sound, and let me explain. I don't want the voting system run by the national. I want them to have the base rules set in place. For example, I want it passed nationwide law that you have to verify ID to vote. Having an ID on you and having to pull your ID out to vote is not racist. Anyone who thinks that that is racist is an idiot. And yes, I'm being bluntly rude here when I say this. Anyone who thinks it's rude or racist or impolite to have an ID so someone can vote in our national elections is a freaking moron. You know why? Anybody out there in my chat room smoke? When you go to buy your cigarettes, do you get carded? Do they want to verify your age? When you go to buy beer or alcohol from a liquor store, do they verify your age? I'll bet 10 to 1, unless you're 65 and have gray hair all over the place, I guarantee they verify your identity, or at least your age. 1 second. So if they're going to verify how old you are to buy cigarettes, tobacco products of any kind, or alcohol, or when you go buy a gun, why is it such a bad thing to show your ID to vote? Why? The third thing I want to see is I want to see Trump bring back all the pipelines and all the oil production, not only fracking, but drilling in as many places as possible so we can become energy independent again. And I want us to have, probably one of the northern states that doesn't have a lot of money. Doesn't have a lot of people living there. So we can buy up a big chunk of land and create an underground storage of fossil fuels. So as we procure it from around the world and locally off the Gulf of Mexico, in Alaska, wherever we get the oil from, we need a place to store it. Not in the open air, so we can't be attacked, so no other country can try and hurt us in case they want to try bombing us. And that way we can not only become energy independent, but we can stay energy independent. And number 4, I want to see Trump bring back the economy and fulfill everything he said he's going to do when it comes to certain things not getting taxed. No taxes on tips. That was Trump's idea first. Don't get it twisted. No taxes on Social Security. If it still exists when I get Social Security, that'd be awesome. If it goes into play while my mom's still alive, that would be awesome. What else did he say? And lowering taxes some more, because you know what? When you lower taxes, especially business taxes, no, you're not helping out the 1% and the millionaires and billionaires. It may seem like it, but you're not. What you're doing is you're helping them employ more people. And guess what happens when they employ more people? More people have money to spend. More people have the ability. More people have the ability to take care of their families. And more people have the ability to do what's right. And that's the one thing that we really need to do, is have people focus on more of what's right for themselves and for their neighbors. When you live, yes, I agree. Voting should be a national holiday. So it's, oh my gosh, I have to work 8 to 5 and I might not make the polls in time. Yeah, I agree. Election day should be a national holiday. That way we can get it done, over with. It should all be paper ballots, but unfortunately, I know he's not going to push that. I would love to see him push that. I would love to see us go straight paper ballots, 1 day voting, 1 day counting, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I think that anybody who is in charge of counting votes should have to run through a commission that is staffed by people that are voted on. That way, the rules for the elections will be reflected by the people that are put in place by the local community. And I think it should be a county election, not a statewide election. And obviously not a federal election, because then your federal ballot will be 100 pages long. And that would take forever to fill out. And I don't want to do that. So, that being said, guys, as you can tell, I've stopped moving and my car has turned off and there's no more AC going. And this car in the sun starts to heat up pretty quick. So thank you guys so much for investing your time in me. And it's the one commodity you can't get back. You can't earn more of, and you sure as hell can't steal from somebody. Thank God, because I don't know. There's a couple people I'd like to steal some time from. No, not necessarily, John. For the voting machines to be hacked, they have to be on a network. And like the ones in Colorado, they are not on a network and they can't be hacked. As far as they've told us, I have yet to see proof of either way, so I'm not going to speak on either way, whether it can or can't be done. I want to see more evidence on it first before I start making that claim. That's plausible. It really is. I wouldn't put it past them, but at the same time, I don't have proof. There were a lot of claims of votes last time changing from Trump to Biden when it went through the machine and they weren't verified. And then there was the other ones where the water pipes broke. And the next thing you know, they shut the place down, start pulling buckets of ballots out from underneath tables. 2020 had a lot of abnormalities. A lot of them were exposed, and yet the news media chose not to investigate nor put time into it to figure out what actually went on. And thus we have the country that we have now. With that being said, guys, again, thank you so much for joining me this evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. If you're on the East Coast, it's early evening. If you're on the West Coast, it's early afternoon. That being said, guys, I'm going to go in, start cooking dinner, take a nap, and go to my second job, and peace out. So thank you guys so much for joining me. This is Archon Delight, signing off for Snook Fam. Have a great rest of your day. Peace!